Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Ling Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. Two parties reached a settlement over a car crash that left one dead. One of the drivers sped through a red light in a Lamborghini. We'll share just how much was paid out. California's Attorney General joined over a dozen other states in suing the United States Postal Service. They're unhappy that the mail carrier isn't buying a certain kind of vehicle. And gas prices have generally stopped going up, but they're not really going down either. A new bipartisan effort is trying once again to halt the gas tax before it increases in July. The family of a Los Angeles woman who was killed in a Lamborghini crash last year has reached an $18 million settlement. The one driving the Lamborghini was a minor at the time.
Monique Munoz, 32, was killed in a crash last February. A then 17-year-old driving a Lamborghini SUV ran a red light and crashed into her Lexus. The woman's family announced on Wednesday they reached an $18.85 million settlement of their lawsuit against the teen's parents. According to the attorney representing the family, today is a significant milestone because the Munoz family can finally get some closure for this horrific tragedy. Attorneys said Munoz was driving home from work at the UCLA Health in Los Angeles. She was attempting to make a left turn when the teen ran a red light and slammed into her vehicle, killing her. During a juvenile court hearing for the teen last year, a Los Angeles Police Department officer who investigated the incident testified that the vehicle's speed was recorded at 86 miles per hour 5 seconds before the impact. The driver's foot was completely on the gas pedal 100%, and the vehicle's speed reached 106 miles per hour less than 2 seconds before the collision. The officer said the data then showed the Lamborghini's driver applying the vehicle's brakes the moment before impact. The race-ready car was moving somewhere between 77 to 92 miles per hour when it collided with Munoz's vehicle. The teenager's father is James Curry, described by Forbes as a multimillionaire who owns several real estate firms, manufacturing companies, and an e-commerce business. In response to the settlement announcement, Curry stated he is saddened by the family's loss and hopes that the insurance settlement will build a new beginning that will honor her spirit. Authorities said the teen had previously been cited for speeding by Beverly Hills Police in October 2020 and November 2020. In both instances, the officers noted that the teen was supposed to be driving with someone who was at least 25 years old, according to the rules of a learner's permit.
California's Attorney General and 15 other states are suing USPS. They allege that the Postal Service plans to buy gas-powered delivery vehicles. They say this violates legal precedent. NTD's David Lam reports.
On Thursday, April 28th, California Attorney General Rob Bonta filed a lawsuit against the United States Postal Service. The lawsuit claims that USPS violated legal precedents and failed to consider the environment over its plan to replace 90% of its fleet with fossil fuel-powered vehicles instead of electrical vehicles. USPS said it has thoroughly followed existing regulations. According to the lawsuit, USPS has the largest civilian vehicle fleet in the world, consisting of over 212,000 vehicles, many of which are near the end of their useful lives. Prosecutors say that USPS violated regulations by allegedly signing contracts with a defense contractor 6 months before releasing its draft environmental review. Bonta said, "Once this purchase goes through, we'll be stuck with more than 100,000 new gas-guzzling vehicles on neighborhood streets." Bonta was joined by 15 other attorney generals from different states, including New York, Connecticut, Delaware, and the District of Columbia. In response, USPS said it has conducted a robust and thorough review and fully complied with all of our obligations under environmental law. USPS has said it expects the vehicles to begin appearing on carrier routes in late 2023. The modern vehicles will replace many 30-year-old USPS vehicles that lack airbags, other safety equipment, and even air conditioning. David Lam, NTD News, California.
Speaking of fuel in cars, a group of bipartisan state lawmakers is now pushing for a year-long suspension of the state's gas tax. The push comes as an impending summer gas tax increase is just around the corner.
A group of Democratic and Republican lawmakers announced on Thursday they're pushing for a year-long suspension of the state's 51-cent gas tax. The group calls itself the Problem Solvers Caucus. They say drivers in California need relief soon, as the annual gas tax increase is scheduled for July 1st. The increase exists to adjust for inflation.
This is a common sense idea that gets immediate relief to drivers if we do it the right way. Many of the problem solvers already support some or all of the current proposals to suspend the gas tax, send rebate checks to taxpayers, and fight inflation at the ports.
But State Senate President Pro Tem Tony Atkins and Assembly Speaker Anthony Rendon said suspending the tax is not the way to address the issue. They wrote in a statement, "As we've said before, suspending the gas tax would reduce critical funds available for road repair and improvement projects. The Better for Families rebate that the legislature has proposed would provide the most meaningful relief to most California families. We are continuing to work through the budget process to get financial help to Californians as quickly as possible." The announcement comes as budget officials in the state Senate estimate a $68 billion surplus this year. The group proposed using the funds from the budget surplus to backfill funding for transportation projects.
It's ridiculous that while the state's coffers are overflowing with cash, average Californians are struggling to buy the basics.
This comes as lawmakers said talks are stalling on the relief Californians were promised nearly 2 months ago. Gas rebate cards are one such halted idea.
It is more expensive to get people to work, and most people who earn from these jobs pay more at the cost. We have to do something today.
The previous push for a gas tax holiday failed to pass, as some lawmakers were concerned the savings wouldn't be passed on to customers. Lawmakers said this bill would provide tools and state oversight to make sure the tax cut reaches drivers.
This legislation shows that problems get solved when we put our red and blue jerseys away. This bloated state needs its pocketbook punctured to afford everyday citizens financial freedom.
Meanwhile, the governor and legislative leaders still want to send direct payments to Californians. But the question remains, how? If and when Californians could see some relief is still to be determined.
Despite hesitance to suspend the gas tax, there are now billions of surplus in the state coffers. Democratic leadership is now considering how Californians could receive billions in tax rebates this year.
The state of California's budget surplus could be as high as $68 billion, according to Democratic Senate leaders. The Legislative Analyst's Office said that number was previously estimated at $36 billion this month and $29 billion in January. But since then, the state has collected much more in taxes than expected. A report from the analyst's office says our estimates suggest that it is virtually certain that collections from the state's big three taxes, personal income, sales, and corporation taxes, will significantly exceed the governor's budget assumption. This week, Senate leaders released a list of items to spend the excess, including a Democratic proposal to send $8 billion to taxpayers in the form of $200 checks, intended to aid the rising costs in energy and consumer products. The plan also includes rebates to small businesses and nonprofits. Governor Gavin Newsom also proposed an $11 billion package to combat rising gas prices. And as a first in the nation, he plans to develop the state's Medi-Cal program for undocumented residents. Billions more are proposed to be invested towards climate programs and expanding Project Homekey. Both the governor and Democratic lawmakers who control the legislature have said they want to get these checks to taxpayers as soon as possible, but they haven't been able to agree on how to go about it so far. Any budget proposal must be approved by the state assembly and Newsom.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Anyone in the housing market knows houses are expensive and limited. One large Orange County city is adding rules to new housing projects that may slow down building progress. A Southern California county is looking to change the definition of women. Despite people in opposition, a vote passed in favor to move forward. with the redefinition. And what better way to start the weekend than updates on baby animals? The baby eagle we've been following is getting ready to leave the nest, while newborn at the Los Angeles Zoo is drawing big crowds. That and more on California Today. Housing costs are climbing in almost all parts of California. One Southern California city is looking to implement higher pay for union construction workers. But the mayor says there is precedent that the pay hikes result in no work getting done.
Just like the rest of the state, Santa Ana in Orange County is experiencing skyrocketing housing prices. Supply is limited and construction costs are about to go up. The price increase is coming from the city council reinstating a rule that fines developers for not meeting certain requirements. Developers will be fined $15 per square foot if they build projects that do not include a percentage of union labor, local workers, and affordable housing units. Councilmember and Mayor Pro Tem Phil Becerra, who voted against the change, said that when the rule was enacted between 2015 and 2020, no developers applied for building permits.
This isn't hypothetical. This isn't let's look at a study and one day we'll implement it. It has already failed, and we are doing exactly what is the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
He said, history has already shown that the $15 fee does not work and will result in less building jobs for everybody. During pandemic lockdowns in late 2020, the fee was lowered from $15 to $5 per square feet to boost the economy. As a result, builders were put to work and the city has collected $9 million in revenue since then. The rule will be carried out in phases. Fees will increase when fewer union and local workers are hired, as well as less affordable housing is built. Adam Wood, vice president of the California Building Industry Association's Orange County chapter, told the Epoch Times it's just bad policy that will discourage development in the city when it's most needed. According to the new rules, developers will have to meet specific requirements by 2026 if they want the fee to drop back to $5. Developers have to use 90% of unionized skill and trained workforce, 35% local hires, plus 10 to 15% of the units have to be rented to low-income individuals.
What's the definition of a woman? Apparently, the meaning could change in one Southern California county. Despite opposition, here's a look at the changes that may come.
San Diego County supervisors voted 3-2 on Tuesday in favor of creating an ordinance that redefines the word woman. It would include biological males who identify as women, despite an overwhelming show of opposition from the public.
I want to make sure that we emphasize that in this ordinance, it's very clear that women and girls refers to those who identify as women and girls, including transgender women and gender nonconforming, and those assigned female at birth, who include non-binary, transgender men, and intersex communities.
The supervisors approved the first reading of the local ordinance, which would be based on the UN's Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, a human rights treaty penned 40 years ago. However, county officials have revised the original treaty by including biological males who identify as female. The ordinance claims to address employment barriers and discrimination in the legal system, help educate women about their voting rights, and combat gender-based violence and harassment. It would only apply to county departments and programs. Supervisor Joel Anderson, who voted against the motion, called the ordinance aggressive and said it would move women's equality in the wrong direction.
And I'm also worried that in the wrong hands, this may weaponize a subject where we should be coming together, but may used to purge people or to go after folks.
During the meeting, 75 San Diego County residents voiced their opinion, primarily against the ordinance. Those who spoke in favor were county employees and those from nonprofits for women and girls, as well as other organizations like Planned Parenthood. County supervisors will take up the issue again next month.
Cargo is waiting longer and longer at the Southern California ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach. Officials give comments but have not implemented consequences for idling containers.
Shipping delays surged again last month at the ports in Los Angeles and Long Beach. According to the Pacific Merchant Shipping Association, the wait time for cargo shipped by truck increased from 5.5 days to 6 days from last month. Rail-shipped cargo rose from 5 days to 8 days. Before pandemic lockdowns, cargo waited an average of 3 days. At the time of reporting, the Port of Los Angeles had about 57,000 containers waiting to be shipped. Of those, half of them had arrived within the past 4 days. Nearly 19,000 containers, or about 33%, were lingering at the docks for more than 9 days. Meanwhile, at the Port of Long Beach, the number of lingering containers has increased by nearly 800 units since the beginning of April, reaching nearly 6,200. Both ports can apply a fee on unmoved containers, but neither have implemented it yet. The executive directors say they are assessing the situation. Gene Soroka, executive director for the Port of LA, told commissioners since October 2021 the number of waiting containers has climbed primarily because of the recent activity around the rail product. Rail volume has increased six-fold in the last month. Port of LA spokesman Philip Sanfield told the Epoch Times that they continue to work with public and private stakeholders in the supply chain to minimize dwell times and improve fluidity.
We've been following Spirit's growth for almost 2 months now. The young bald eagle has grown significantly and is getting ready to leave the nest in another week or two.
Spirit, the bald eaglet, is now 8 weeks old and about the same size as mom and dad. In recent days, its mother, Jackie, and father, Shadow, have been spending more time on the outer branches and away from the nest. They're letting young Spirit learn how to feed itself and grasp food with its own talons. The eagle family lives in a nest about 145 feet above the ground in Southern California's Big Bear Valley. Friends of Big Bear Valley have been live streaming the eagles since before Spirit hatched. Eagles usually make their first flight at about 10 to 14 weeks of age. This means Spirit may take to the skies in another 2 weeks. After the first flight, Spirit will remain in the area for another month or so. During this time, Spirit will likely continue visiting the nest to eat or just hang out. But after that, Spirit will take off on its great adventure to explore new areas and find a new place to call home. Friends of Big Bear Valley live stream the nest 24 hours a day from their website for those who can't get enough.
If one baby animal wasn't enough for you, here's another. The Los Angeles Zoo has a newborn giraffe and is proving to be a big hit with the visitors. Here's a look at what's drawing the crowds.
The week-old Maasai calf was unveiled to the public on Thursday. The calf was born on April 8th to 10-year-old parents Zainabu and Philip, who already share one other youngster together.
End up going into labor on exhibit. So some lucky guest that day got to see her, but then we brought her into the barn where she could have a nice, quiet, comfortable place to give birth.
The baby, still unnamed, weighed 172 pounds at birth and measured in at 6 feet and 7 inches tall. It set a record as the largest calf to be born in the zoo's history. He's Philip's 6th offspring and Zainabu's 4th.
He's very curious about the zookeepers, myself, and our interaction with his mom and the other giraffes. So he's kind of a little shy right now, but hopefully as he gets older, he'll warm up to us as well, like his parents are.
Zainabu carried the calf for 15 months before going into labor, which lasted around 3 hours. Her keepers said she will be ready to reproduce again in around 3 to 6 months.
I was surprised. And, it's delightful. Who doesn't want to have a new baby, right? Yes. No, it's delightful.
Who else do you think is in the giraffe family?
A papa right there.
Uh-huh.
And he's tall.
Yes. Who else?
A mama right there. And I guess that one is the baby. But how does a baby giraffe even climb out of his mom?
She comes out of her belly and then she stands up right away. You took a long time to stand up.
Yeah.
That baby comes out and it's ready to run.
I couldn't even run.
Nope.
When fully grown, the new calf could reach up to 17 feet in height and weigh as much as 2,700 pounds. But before that, he's likely to be moved from his family to start his own.
Now let's check in with Thomas Christian for a sports update.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup. Even though Angel City FC makes their highly anticipated home debut in downtown Los Angeles Friday, the National Women's Soccer League side and their star-studded ownership group has already scored with sponsors and fans. The team was the brainchild of actress Natalie Portman. Other A-list celebrities include Jennifer Garner, Eva Longoria, and Jessica Chastain are now among the many co-owners. Tennis great Billie Jean King and former U.S. national team members also jumped on board. Portman, a founder of the anti-harassment group Time's Up, was inspired by the U.S. national women's team's fight for equal pay, and Angel City has put its values front and center. The team will donate 10% of its sponsorship money to community programs, while a portion of ticket sales will go directly to the players. Jess Smith, Angel City's head of revenue, said she has been overwhelmed in the best way possible by the response from sponsors who see an opportunity to back something bigger than a soccer team. Fans in the crowded LA sports marketplace, Angel City is the city's 12th pro team, have also flocked to the squad. More than 15,000 season tickets have been sold for their 11 home games this year at the plush 22,000 capacity Bank of California Stadium. Demand for Friday's game dwarfs that of other teams in the league. Angel City boasts star power on the field as well, most notably two-time World Cup winning striker Kristen Press. The team has also shown steady improvement throughout the Challenge Cup, culminating in a 1-0 win over the Portland Thorns on Sunday. After a quick first-round series win, players usually take a few days to relax and recover for the next round. Not Stephen Curry, who recently announced the launch of a junior golf tour that will try to ramp up student-athlete participation numbers from diverse communities. Curry said his underrated brand was working with the American Junior Golf Association to help golfers from underprivileged backgrounds. Curry cited that less than 2% of golfers are people of color, and that his tour will focus on bringing equitable access to anyone who wants to compete against the best players on the AJGA. In its first year, the Underrated Golf Tour will select each of the 24 best boys and girls who will compete for the Curry Cup at the August 28th through 30 season-ending championship at TPC Harding Park in San Francisco. The tour will begin June 21st through 23rd in Chicago, with other stops in Phoenix, Houston, and Tampa. As always, I'm Thomas Christian, and thanks for tuning in.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or you just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a great weekend.